session 15 of Echoes of the Astral Sea. Last we left off, the party convinced Varut that he's force sensitive, and then left for space, leaving Varut's crew to try and find Varut's echoes, going in search of Juneau in Atomspace. So we're gonna pick right back up in the Astral Sea, and yeah.
As an explosion rocks the side of the ship. Don't forget, that's exactly where we left off.
Yep.
Spoke about beradium, and then Skirl was like, "Oh shoot!
Bloody hell! I knew I was forgetting something." So, anyways, picking up with
chime
that,
in and be like, "You should take more care with your explosives. Never know when you might need them."
True, but sometimes, right? But sometimes they're a bit too volatile. Your nitroglycerins and the like. I think that one was called rhydonium.
You see a visible shudder travel up his spine. Ugh. That stuff is sensitive.
Aye.
And boy, do I mean sensitive. Sneeze wrong and you blow up half the planet.
Why else did you think I threw it overboard?
I mean, beradium's also fairly unstable, but at least it's not rhydonium.
What is everyone else doing currently?
Well, right now, aside from Skirvo, who is talking to him for different reasons, all my other characters are currently snapping for the juiciest gossip. Well, except R7. R7 couldn't care less.
Eden is definitely with them on that. And Vager's just there in tow. He's just happy to be with his...
Listen. Last session, Varut got immediately surrounded by women who immediately were hounding him for the hottest gossip. And then there was a sudden hint that there might be romance afoot. Frankly, he didn't stand a chance. He's going to be stuck with this for a while. The pack of ravenous vultures.
Eden's just going to look at the rest of the party. It's like, see? It's not hopeless. If he can get anybody, you can too.
Well, okay, first of all, he's a mysterious mass stranger. Second of all, I choose to imagine Varut is quite the handsome devil.
Oh,
under
absolutely,
the mask. Yeah. We never described officially what Varut looks like, and I was
looking for a picture and I never did find one.
Yeah, I just always assumed he was just a handsome devil under the mask, like not unreasonably handsome, but like the kind of person you'd be like, oh, sorry, I was just lost in your features for a minute. So think action movie hero from the 80s. That's kind of what I picture as Varut.
Anyways,
Spartan is probably beginning the very time-consuming process that is getting out of Mark 6 Mjolnir without an armor cradle.
I assume I was on.
You have to by hand get a screwdriver and undo all the bolts holding it together.
And yes, what is Emeria doing? This isn't like a full downtime thing yet.
Right.
Just like what you're doing while Varut and the other are talking.
Well, I assume Emeria was on the deck when this entire gossip thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you were there. Yes.
There's no way she's not getting involved in this.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
Listen, there's romance.
With someone. With the mysterious masked stranger.
Listen. I really love how we all just immediately decided that when it came to gossip, every woman that is currently on the Crimson Duchess is the equivalent of a pack of starved vultures.
There's nothing better to do on this ship.
Going for it. That being said, where's Celia?
Also there.
Mhm. The real question is, has Shiria come out of the
She probably is.
The rigging.
She's probably on that side of the rigging, at least listening in.
Shiria is actually about to do something. As you're talking, you see Shiria kind of walk down the rigging near Skirvo and Varut. So yeah, Varut, you see a spider lady come out of the rigging.
Well, that's certainly a sight you don't see every day.
Captain, there's something you probably want to take a look at. And after she says it, you hear and feel kind of like a rumble from above and behind the Duchess as a gigantic hammerhead-shaped battleship seems to fly over top of you.
What? Well, does Skirvo recognize it of any kind?
Yes, Skirvo does recognize it as the flagship of the Praetors, the Praetors' Hope. It kind of swivels around, and
What the devil do they want?
a section of it kind of comes up alongside the Duchess, and you see a
Yeah, that's about what I pictured. Same haircut too.
you see a hatch open on the side, and a little bridge extends out most of the way to the Duchess, but not all the way. And walking out is 3 shark people. The one in the lead is a muscular woman with features of a great white shark. To her left is a even more muscular man with features of a hammerhead, and to her right is a much less muscular woman with features of a mako. She comes up to the edge of the bridge, right in front of
Because we
her.
all know because we all know that the lemon shark-looking ones are the nursemaids, and are the absolute sweethearts. Anyways.
Yeah, reactions to giant battleship and shark people. Anyone?
I mean,
I ran into.
There was that one shark guy in Clone Wars. So actually, Varut would be less surprised about shark people than he would be about spider people.
Yeah, it's not more unnerving at the fact that these people more on edge because I don't know who these people are.
Skirvo does know who these people are, to be clear.
No. I mean my.
Oh,
Nilo.
you mean Nilo?
Other you?
Yeah. Nilo is a bit on edge because she doesn't know who these people are. But as for shark people, I mean, Bruce is on deck.
Yeah, and they are also they are also armed to the teeth, by the way.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Varut likes them immediately. Remember, weapons are part of his religion.
I don't know if you like them necessarily, but you definitely respect them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, immediate respect.
Eden's just gonna look at them.
Yeah, so
she's gonna be like,
does the hammerhead ship resemble like a warship, or just a hammerhead-shaped freighter, or
very much a warship?
Okay, so there'll be slight both interest and concern considering a hammerhead-shaped warship just pulled up right next to us and docked.
Yeah.
It's actually just kind of flying alongside you, but the bridge isn't all the way attached to the Duchess. It's just like
so it's
extending out long enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
walk over to the side of the railing where they're at. So, obvious first move is mad dogging. See who bites first. This probably went on for an uncomfortable amount of time.
What do you mean by mad dogging?
You know the stare. You You know, whenever they're doing like a western or whatever, they
Oh, I know
always like
I know what you mean
staring
now.
each other down.
Yeah, it's a
That's
stare.
mad dogging.
It's a stare down.
Yep. The other term is mad dogging.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it is.
Mhm.
Anyways, so you made it sound like they were gonna make the first move.
Yeah. The 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 shark lady in the lead. Didn't think I'd see your rusty mug in this space around this time. Thought I heard you were over near realm space. Her voice is surprisingly even despite her large stature and heavily and the fact she has many scars.
You sure you didn't? Well, many people have a habit of mixing me up with my brothers. Besides, advantage of spell jamming, you get around quick.
Well, you have to if you're on the run. I hear I hear one I hear a certain lich queen is looking for you. Offered me quite a hefty sum to bring you in.
Varut's head will snap over to Skirvo. Lich Queen? Oh boy, what trouble have you dragged me into now?
Now, you're not foolish enough to try to collect, are you?
She kind of shrugs for a second. Haven't made up my mind yet. I want to be clear that Skirvo does know that she's mostly joking with him.
Yeah, I was having a bit of a feeling about that, but it's also, it's still appearances and such.
Yeah, I know.
So he will. So he's gonna, he's gonna do that mad dog stare and then do kind of the small chuckle. So what brings you around these parts then? So looking around for a crusty old cretin like me can't be the only reason you're around. Picking up another load of spice, are we?
Got word about out of character I'm trying to figure out the way she would word it, but the reason she came she was literally coming to find you to warn you that you have a bounty on your head, and I can't figure out how she would word it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think you just did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So
no,
he's like,
in character, I don't know how she would word it as, like a pirate rebel captain, because she wouldn't just say
Yeah.
that directly, but that is
Yeah.
basically what she tells you.
Yeah. More or less the thieves' can't version.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose. Well, I hear a lot of things these days. Most of which concerning, others of which more pressing. I hear some rather. I hear the seas stirring in a wrong. I hear the seas stir in the wrong direction these days. Best watch yourself.
Last I heard, that's why she has it out for you. My guess is she thinks you have a hand in causing it. That's not
In
true,
which
is
case,
it?
and what, pray tell, would they be? Would they be on about? There's a lot of things these days. I can't. With how old I am, you can't hardly expect me to remember every sudden conversation or thing I've ever done. He kind of impatiently taps his temple with the end of his pipe.
All of the unrest seems to be caused by creatures ending up in spheres they're not supposed to. I don't know why, but Vlachith seems to think that you had a hand in putting them there.
Well, I'm flattered that they think so highly of me. Unfortunately, I'm currently stuck trying to find solutions rather than cause problems.
Varun will speak up and be like, "Excuse me, but who are you?"
To respond to this, she grabs a hold of the railing and leaps over. And comes up to shake Varut's hand. Captain Aaron Dunwall, I lead the Praetors. I'm both surprised and not surprised that the captain hasn't mentioned me.
He's only been hardly much to tell, especially when you've only been on deck for roughly 20 minutes.
This a new one?
New enough. Are you?
Very well. I am Varut Ordo, at your service. Now, where were we?
You mentioned a Lich Queen. Which bloody one is it this time?
Greenskin? Which one do you think? Greenskin? Think she owns the entire Astral Sea? Out of character, Vlachith.
Yeah.
I think like
oh,
she mentioned Blacketh already.
Yeah, she
yeah.
did. She did already mention Blacketh by name.
Okay. So he's just like, he's like, is that the Git Yankee one?
That's her. Mean as they come.
Which I want to point out probably immediately shocked Ticker that he already heard it, that he seems to already be aware of this.
No, it makes sense that Skirvo would know who Blacketh is.
No, I mean about the bounty.
Oh.
Considering that everyone made a very deliberate choice not to tell him, yet he seems to already know about it. For reasons that I've already explained to you outside, someone's always listening.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's always whispering in his ear. I told you, he's paranoid.
Yeah.
He knows what's happening on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
It's always them bloody spellcasters or royalty, always getting the wrong idea of things. And if I ever see that bald cretin Mordenkainen again,
Making fun of a man because he's
Bad
bald.
experience, I take it.
Bald.
some magic users would call him the fun police. He says that with mechanical quotations. My brand of mischief tends to rub the Order of Eight the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Where does you said you're searching for solutions to this problem in the seas of late?
I
imagine
have you heard?
I imagine Quilrith is involved. That he usually gets involved with these sorts of things.
It's bigger this time.
It must be for chasing down me and my former compatriots.
She gives you a quizzical look that's like she has no idea who you are.
Have you heard? Skirvo will just turn to her.
Did some work for him in the past.
Have you heard about what happened with Croneria? I only heard about it a couple weeks ago.
Can't say I have. It's been. I don't
She's
usually
dead.
pay.
The short version is me and my compatriot.
She.
Don't-
Erin was mid-word when you said that, and she just instantly stops. Her mouth kind of hangs open for a second, and then she just shuts her mouth.
Yeah, meanwhile, Skirvo puffs out an incredibly aggressive-looking creature out of the pipe.
And this one was involved in that, I take it.
Yes,
So's the word.
well, it's a long, complicated mess, but that's the short version. We dealt with her.
Where's this search taking you next?
To find my other compatriots.
In some space.
What did you say, Joey?
Atomspace. Sorry, I'm also eating. I mentioned I was late.
Okay, sorry.
Say, you haven't happened to have heard any rumors as to where Griswold is probably hopped off to? That crazy clown.
Griswold, clown. Goes
Denizen of
Taller
Hammered
than me,
Ice.
probably about 7 or 8 feet tall. Puppet obsession.
Teleports through. She turns to specifically Skirvo. Teleports through rifts in space-time more than portals.
His gaze locks hers.
We've had the misfortune of meeting.
Oh, I do not envy you in the slightest.
Last I
Seems to be going
heard,
around.
she was causing problems in moon space. Something about releasing a brother of Cthulhu or something.
Causing chaos and mischief. Yep, that sounds like her.
Out of character, by the way, in case you didn't know, moon space is Terraria.
Okay.
Okay. I was confused.
If that's true, she'd be long gone by the time we get there. We best be sticking to the course we currently have. You happen to hear rumors about doppelgangers of people, whether living or dead?
A few different spheres.
If you find and locate the doppelganger, kill him.
These
They're part
doppelgangers.
of it.
And killing them will help to
They
solve.
work. It's the current work in theory.
Well,
Granted by Quillrith himself. No.
she just nods.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of like this interaction. It's two old sailors knowing that the sea's not rocking right.
Yeah.
Sea's not rocking right, and any piece of information that's dropped is important.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she's probably aware that when Skirvo's dropping big stuff like this, it is deadly important.
Yeah.
Because Skirvo tends to have a frustrating quality about him where he tends to act a bit like the Fae, where he doesn't gift information unless it is extremely important.
But the question is, does he sell it?
Oh, obviously. But when he gives it away... yeah. Of you and your... Skirvo's currently debating whether or not to tell her about the really important thing, but I, out of game, don't know what what their relationship truly is. Whether or not he could truly trust her with that kind of information, but also whether or not she can actually do anything with it.
Out of character, the information you're talking about is...
The ether gem.
Oh. Um...
If she
Pro-
even knows, if she'd even have a
yeah,
foggiest of what that is.
out of character, you probably know that, like, she probably wouldn't spill the information, but she wouldn't be able to do anything with it because you know
Okay.
that she's currently in the middle of fighting a civil war against her father.
Ah, all right. Anyways, so rather than that, how's the war front going?
We've made some progress on a few spheres. It seems that this convergence, as people are calling it, has disrupted a lot of Ioran supply lines.
Give me one moment.
Middle of a civil war, I take it.
I hail from a sphere called Iora space. Naval traditions dominate dominate the society there, and my father is the admiral of my entire people.
Okay, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I've been fighting a bit of
So
a civil war myself.
is that what the? So, anyways, as in terms of the convergence, is that what the kids are calling it?
That seems to be the word in a lot of spheres.
Hmm. A word like that implies combining many things together. I'm I'm not sure I like the sound of that, if that's what the consensus is.
I mean, from what you were saying, it sounds like there are alternate versions of people showing up from potentially alternate timelines if different things had happened at different points in time. They're all converging into one physical space. That could be why all these problems are showing up. You
We'd
know,
be
things
lucky
like
if that
full-size star destroyers that should not exist.
we'd be lucky if that was all. Yeah, they're getting bigger. Like the lad mentioned, at first it seemed to just be displaced people. But if my crew members say is true, an entire vessel and its crew have been displaced. With its and not even from a different sphere, from an alternative timeline. They, frankly speaking, they shouldn't exist, and yet now they do.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I do hope no rebel troops come across that interdictor. They will be slaughtered.
I. Yeah.
The Mako shark lady whispers something to Aaron.
Yeah.
Isurus is telling me that we're needed elsewhere. It has been good. It has been good to see you, Skirbo.
Happy hunting.
To you as well.
May, may your may your victory come swift and righteous.
She gives a very particular bow, you know, to be
Yeah.
like a specific Ioran bow.
Yeah.
The three shark people return to their ship, and the ship flies away.
Speaking of
As soon as
which,
she's gone, Baruch will turn.
when were you telling me about the Githyanki Queen?
Who is he asking this to?
Just in general.
I have no idea what a Githyanki is, Captain.
Baruch will turn and look Skirbo right in the face and be like, "Now, do tell me, for the love of the Force and all that is important in this multiverse, that us killing Croneria isn't destroying the fabric of reality.
Skirvo returns the staring him right in the eye.
Well,
Haven't the foggiest.
more like faceplate of his helmet.
Yeah. Haven't the foggiest.
Varut lets out a Mandalorian curse. This day just keeps getting better and
and if
better.
Varut wishes to roll an insight, he could probably dig out that he means that it's one of the possibilities. We don't know if it actually plays any part of it though.
He lets out a Mandalorian curse, and then just this day just keeps getting better and better. Next, you're gonna say Griswold gallivanting about is causing a destabilization or something.
That is also likely an explanation.
Of course it is. Because nothing is ever simple.
As far as we can tell, Griswold has been traveling around in a way that's not natural, to say the least. Supposedly, it might actually be causing tears.
You see Varut like facepalm into his helmet and just bending his face down. Of course it is. Of course it is.
The good news of
You
it
hear him
means
mutter
they're not-
something about chaos, abominations,
Yeah.
and
Good
something
news
else.
is we have little reason to actually visit Hammerspace at this time.
Thank the Force.
Although with how my... And then he looks at Varut again. Although with how Lady Luck has been smiling upon me lately, I'm sure the universe will find an excuse.
Oh, I have no doubt of that. As he taps Skirbo
Out of
on the
game, I
shoulder.
actually have no idea whether or not
no
we're returning
doubt.
to Hammerspace. I'm just saying this is Skirvo commenting on how shitty his luck's been lately.
Out of character, no, you are not going to Hammerspace.
Aw,
It's
no orc junkyard fight.
It's more fun to. It'd be more fun to displace stuff from Warhammer anyway.
Yeah.
rather than try to figure out where in the Grimdark we'd go. Like, are we gonna end up on one of the actually weirdly nice places to be, or are we gonna end up in one of the truly awful places to be, or are we gonna do one of the entire spectrum in between?
End up in the middle of a hive, in a hive world during a gene stealer infestation, or in the middle of an exterminatus.
Or, even worse, just walk right in and immediately see the Golden Throne itself, which is like the number one place you don't want to be. Like, I don't care how righteous or good the God Emperor is supposedly supposed to be. In person, he's kind of a dick, and his custodians are worse. I don't think this crew would survive a fight against 10 custodians. Maybe one.
2.
Anyways.
Well, now, part of that's because we don't have the Kalani at the moment.
Anyways, yeah, so let's go ahead and make way for Atomspace.
Yes.
Let's be a...
I'm assuming that we're gonna call a meeting to discuss that.
Yeah. More or less.
And you all gather into the same office that you remember.
I forget what her last name is.
Alaska.
Juneau, Alaska?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Like the place.
Wait. Maddie, her first and last name was just the city and state.
Well, yeah, she forgot her last name because.
So she named herself after the most frequently commented freaking place when it comes to the war.
Yeah.
Against the freaking Anchorage, Alaska.
Yeah.
You know what? I love Juneau. Anyways, she's no Cooper Ghoul, but I mean, to be fair, I don't
Oh
think.
no.
To be fair, I'm not sure what he is anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just
But
Cooper.
but anyhow, but that being said, we need to find some of those chems for Juneau. Make sure she don't go all snarly on us.
Remember that
You don't crack
Quillrith
Yeah.
made it so that she'll never turn feral.
Yeah, she's
Oh yeah, that I forgot about
forever
that.
crazy.
That
I forgot
was
about that.
the
Mhm.
wish.
Anyways, yeah. So call in the meeting with the senior
Mhm.
staff in the captain's quarters,
Mhm.
which is, let's be honest, is just his office.
Mm-hmm. I'll put him down here with near the R2.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, so it's like yeah, Juneau, Alaska, who a resident of Atomspace. That is all
Mhm.
the information we have on your compatriot. Care to
Ah,
elaborate?
he takes off his helmet. Hands looks at R7 and looks. Can you connect? Do you happen to have a holotape you can connect some of the files in here to? I think it'd be useful.
You have a. Hang on. Hang on. Ticker.
Ticker pulls out that same tool you've seen
Yeah.
before. Takes
Yeah.
the helmet
Well, I
from
mean,
you.
yeah, he was looking at the R7 unit because he's like, something I recognize.
Yeah. You say you recognize, even though that particular unit hasn't been invented yet, as far as your timeline goes, and
Yeah.
won't
No,
be
they had
invented for another
R7s.
4 years.
Well, yeah, well, I think they had R. Did they not have R7s in Clone Warrior? He
No,
looks
R7
identical to an
R7
R.
R7 is a New Republic era droid.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
But
I mean, the shape-wise, they look
yeah, it
identical
is
to
still
R2s and R7s.
Very
it
much
is still an
scared.
astromech droid. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
might not
You
know
recognize
it's
it.
a
You just don't.
7 model, but he'd be like,
Yeah.
R series astromech. I can work with this.
Yeah. Anyways,
Ticker turns a thing. So what files are we thinking about
He
here?
pulls up. He pulls up some old
that would have been
files
like
that
you
in
were.
a folder that's marked transfer
Let me
from
me
his Death
see.
Trooper helmet. Pulls up
Let me think
Adam's
out of
face.
game. For Varut, it's been like, let's see, from between before the Battle of Yavin to.
Yeah, not long before the Battle of Yavin to not long after
Post
the Battle of
Endor.
Endor.
Yeah,
So it's been
that's
at
got to
least
be
4
like.
years. It's been
Yeah,
at 4 years, yeah.
yeah. Around 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Because I know that, like, A New Hope and Empire don't take too far apart from each other.
Well, no, A New Hope and Empire are about 3 years apart, and then Empire and Return of the Jedi are about 6 months.
Huh. I could have swore that one was a lot longer.
Empire is about 3 ABY.
Anyways,
Okay.
been about 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. He pulls up
Anyway.
an old file, from a file box marked transfer from where he tried to transfer it from the Death Trooper helmet. In an
Anyways.
archive compressed zip folder, basically.
Yeah.
Juneau's world, what'd you call it? Atomspace, I believe, is an irradiated post-nuclear apocalyptic wasteland. Reminds me an awful lot of Mandalore, only without the biodomes.
That much we're aware of.
Lots of the critters have been mutated or adapted to the high radiation environment and have various abnormalities or weird designs. He pulls up a brief hologram of Juneau, including the normal. He lifts his hand up and does the air quotes for normal human population, though I don't know if all of them are or not.
You do not. I imagine you don't. Like, okay, actually, come to think of it, you probably have more than we think because we have seen Juneau eat. So she has to remove the helmet every now and again. She just removed it less often than you did. So
the wildlife is, of course, to be avoided if you can. Though Juneau and Kalani got the crazy idea of trying to tame what was it called? He pulls up the monster and he's sitting there
The death
scratching his
claw.
brain.
yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, Mary's just gonna chime in. Deathclaw, huh? Not
Yes.
terribly surprising. They are supposedly intelligent.
We named it Lenin. Of course, Juno also had a bear mutant called a Yaogwai. She named Carl that absolutely useless. Followed us everywhere anyway.
Shit, she tamed a bear?
Bear mutant thing.
A bear's a bear. You're how big?
Varuk makes rough gestures with his hands.
Give me a moment.
Out of character, it's a black bear.
Yeah. Like about yay tall, about yay wide. About the size of a manka. Or a Nexu. A bit taller than a Nexu. More like a
I think Joey had to leave for something.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what he said meant by give me a minute.
Okay.
Still trying to figure
All
out.
right, I'm
what
back.
I
Sorry,
want.
but people want to talk to me right now, and it's annoying.
Varuk makes generic, general sizes. About the size of a Monka or Nexu. No, a little bit taller than a Nexu. More like a Reek. Not quite a Reek, though. That's a bit too big. Somewhere
big
between.
one. Big one. Mesa didn't try to maul you guys.
It was Juno's pet, for lack of a better description.
To be fair, Kalani did treat it like a puppy every now and then, although she was also big enough to get away with it. That was a bear. That woman's a bear by herself.
Kalani treated the thing like a tuka. Out of tukas are Star Wars cats, house cats. But
okay.
he would say dog, but I don't know of any dog pets in Star Wars, and he wouldn't know what a dog is. He's a Mandalorian.
Yeah. So, anyways. Is this gear all you got to go off of? If I understand correctly, this isn't exactly uncommon equipment.
I have no idea where she ended up on the planet. He also gives a couple other details that he probably would remember from playing files.
Does he give us a face? Does he give us an actual face?
Yeah, it's a hologram.
He just gives us just like a stock photo of a feral ghoul. Just think that, but sentient.
Yeah. Just pull up a picture of a rotted humanoid. Just immediately looking at Juneau.
Yeah. On the upside, at least Carl wasn't any of the bees. Cazador, I believe they were called. Nasty.
Here. Huh.
What'd you say? You cut out briefly?
Oh no, I actually didn't say anything. I had like 10 different thoughts and 3 different characters to try to inject thoughts from, and then they all 3 stooged in my throat. and then I just decided I'm gonna swallow it and come back to this.
Not the bee.
When I have somewhere to go. Now, anyways, let's run over a child with a train and move on.
Okay.
Same movie that you're referencing. Not the bees. Yep, that's the same movie. I genuinely don't know what was happening with that film.
Anyways.
Nicolas Cage.
They put Nicolas Cage in a cage. Anyhow, you're... So, Would you happen to have left any equipment with Miss Alaska that you'd be able to track?
Some things. It's all antiquated analog technology. I doubt it.
You say antiquated, but it sounds like they've mastered nuclear weapons quite well.
Yes, and then they proceeded to bomb themselves into near extinction.
It's okay. They deserve to.
I mean, yeah. Just
They deserve each other.
To my knowledge, they never got to advanced digital computing. But I may be wrong on that. Don't know. Didn't spend too long with them.
Did she mention any cities or anything? Anywhere she used to anywhere she'd like to visit?
I don't know. Did she?
She might have mentioned New
Yes.
Vegas a couple times out of
Yeah.
game.
No, she's from California. She's from Irvine, but then she went to like New Vegas, and then like when the campaign ended, she said she was headed over to the East Coast.
Ah, okay.
Originally from
Alabama.
the West Coast, I believe she called it California, and spent a lot of time in a city called New Vegas. But when we were departing, when Quillrith was teleporting us all back to where we belong, she mentioned about heading east. I
Mary's
check
gonna
along
go.
the eastern seaboard of the Western Hemisphere.
Mary's. That's something to go off of. That's something to go off of. Here, this one's a bit of a wanderer. We're gonna have. But if we have roughly some state lines to follow, we're gonna be just fine. We're gonna be just fine. You would not believe how many different maps of America we have.
You see Varut raise one eyebrow.
Vomit.
Been to a lot of different versions of the same world, I take it.
A little too often.
Roughly, Tigger, who is tapping away on a little like device thing without looking up, will just say,
Yeah.
roughly 30-40% of all crystal spheres include Earth in some fashion.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It is an annoyingly common planet. No, I'm like in game. I feel like that'd be the feeling of it, but like out of game, I get why it is because we're humans. We relate to human things, so make it take place on Earth.
We know what Earth looked like.
It's not like two members of the party are from Earth.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Different Earths, mind you.
Yeah, that's true. So anyhow,
Actually, no, 3 because we got married.
oh yeah.
I'm going after a 4th.
Yeah.
Who's the third that's from Earth?
Okay, so
Mary. So there's Nilo, Spartan.
Nilo is from a sphere with an Earth. She's not
Yeah, that's
from
what I meant.
Earth.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Nilo,
Yeah.
Spartan, and a Mary. So that
Mhm.
weirdly makes sense. That tracks. Anyways, I think I'll see if I can extract more. We'll see if we can extract more information. See to it that we make it to the East Coast. To the East Coast on them. You bloody know where we're going. You've been running yourself a little ragged, Captain. Skirva's just perhaps I'm overheating. Keep talking, I'll be listening. Just get to the bottom of this. And then Skirbo's just going to be staring down at the map, and then his eye flickers out, and he just isn't moving.
Oh. He's certainly a unique model.
That doesn't even cover it. Supposedly, there was only around 50 of these things made. Right now, there's only about 15, including the one you're standing next to. And they are old as fuck.
Success rate.
It's actually trying to... It is one hell of a thing trying to figure out how old they actually are. Especially because time displacement between different spheres makes tracking time damn near impossible. Also, you don't really age in the Astral Sea. I think I'm supposed... Like, I mean, look at me. I look like I'm in my early 30s, but I'm actually almost but I'm actually pushing 50. If I've been keeping track of the dates correctly.
Dang, you look good for your age.
Thank you.
Spartan will chime in. Well, we didn't have anything like that. Most military service members during slip space travel were in cryosleep, so we have a similar result.
Yeah, and that's not even factoring in some of the places that actually factor in the theory of relativity. Relativity is a bitch.
That's what the eggheads say.
So let's see if we can narrow down some.
Out of character, real quick. From Mary being kind of a nerd, what does she actually know about the Fallout universe?
I imagine she knows like surface level stuff. Like maybe she I don't know if she ever actually got to playing that game. So I'm kind of ruling that she knows more or less of it, not necessarily any finer details.
Okay.
So it's
she knows like the basics, but nothing about like all the vaults and like all
stuff. She knows the basics, but she couldn't identify that it was like.
When did Mary's world go kablooey?
2017.
Yeah.
2017. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was before the Fallout TV show would have definitely probably piqued her interest in it.
When was Fallout 4?
It was 2015, I believe.
2015.
Because I was in junior year when it got released.
But anyways, so I suppose we'll just work out see if we can extract. I imagine out of game we're not extracting much more details.
Mm-hmm.
But see what little we can work off of with Juneau. Considering that, hilariously, despite the fact that we have little ground to cover, Juneau is actually going to be one of the harder ones to track down. Just because of just by her nature of being a wanderer and wearing the most just wearing the most basic gear that just about anybody can pick up.
Yeah, she's literally wearing like the NCR like uniform.
Yeah, exactly. So as a result, there's
as far
a lot
as we're
of people
concerned, she is just dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. She's just dude, and we're gonna have a hard time finding dude.
Well, we know that she lives in the United States.
Yep.
Where?
We're down.
She doesn't even know.
One of 7 continents.
Yeah. So we know to travel somewhere in the U.S. on the U.S.'s East Coast. That's what we got to go off of. So we're gonna work with that
still
for now.
there.
We've narrowed it down to a third of one of the largest land masses.
How long ago did Carl die, and when did he get out of what is it?
The demon form?
Yes.
The corn form? I know it was still
of war.
Yeah, I know it was still during the campaign. It was before she left. So she left with Yao Guai, Carl, and then Carl died like soon after that, and then she kept on replacing him with different kinds of creatures.
Wait, how did Carl die?
Probably old age.
Died.
Either from
He probably got mauled by a death claw. Or he got hit by an assaultron. Who knows?
He
Just died.
Of a demigod of war.
There is
died, and then he got reverted back to
remember
in the campaign.
There are
yeah,
one of
you
two
did all
explanations.
the troop polymorph shenanigans, and then like the boss rush died.
One of two things makes sense to me. One, Carl kept dying just about every single fight we got in. So either that happened again, but this time she didn't have us to bring him back.
Yeah.
Or, alternatively, Carl could have
enough.
also unremarkably just died from radiation-based sicknesses from, all the horrific mutations he has.
Like I said, maybe he just got cancer and it finally caught up with him.
Maybe he had cancer the whole time. We don't freaking know.
He was cancer, dude.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he had he was polymorphed after the campaign. Yeah, I guess that was just me.
It was temporary. I remember that.
No, it was permanent, and then he died, and then he got reverted back.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carl is dead is the point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways, continuing.
That Carl is dead. There's another Carl that I've been.
There's multiple Carls that have died.
Renaming the new pet Carl, forgetting that Carl.
And she thinks that Carl is still alive, and that is Carl right there.
Even though in reality, this is Carl like Mark 15, and the Carl we knew before was like Mark 5.
Reincarnation.
Yeah. Little did we know that was actually the 42nd Carl that Juneau has had.
Okay, so we will skip over that little discussion that you're having as you're trying to work out information, and we will go to a downtime slot. I will tell you, Brad, that we're going to do something with Varut, but specifically, so other than Varut, characters get a downtime slot.
Armor repair.
Let's see. What do I have on me?
Well, I assume that no one on the ship would want me acquiring parts to create the third homunculus. Technically second of that stat block, but third thing that is a one-eye being.
Oh, for God.
What?
Hang on. I just realized because my computer freaked out, I accidentally got kicked out of the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and keep doing whatever. I'm just...
Because I don't think I have like a magical essence to bring back the Frankenstein's monster yet. So we're going to keep that in the cooler for the time being.
Yeah.
Bradley, for your armor repairs, roll me a Tinker's Tools check.
Yep, I was just checking that modifier and exploits. Okay, I might use Tinker's Intuition. I might not. Let's see how it goes. Roll the Tinker's Tools. Yeah, well, 17. I want to add a d6. Nah, 17 is good enough.
Okay. Yeah, that's a success with one of your things. So write that on down.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and help Brad out with the armor because I genuinely have nothing better to do other than any actual work that the crew needs me to do.
Okay, make another Tinker's Tools check then.
All right, let me just double check what that check be. Oh wow.
And remember, you can
Intelligence.
because this is an ability check and you have your spell jar, you can also add your wisdom modifier to it.
Okay.
I couldn't add it to mine because Tinker's Tools is neither wisdom nor strength.
Yeah. Mine is. Yes. So I can.
It's an intelligence-based artisan tool.
Yeah. There it is. Okay. Well, if I add those together, that would mean it's a 13, I believe, plus everything else.
A plus 13? Dang.
Yeah, I'm not failing this.
Add,
I love how you
yeah,
got on the die what I rolled total.
add another success to your markdown thing, Brad.
I think a 30 does it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Emeria?
Nilo knew what she was
Yes.
doing, even if she didn't know what it was.
Just rolling one.
It's better than it was before, actually.
Well, it sounded like you were gonna say something, so.
Well, of course it is. It's closer to being fully repaired. Or rewiring the reactor
Oh,
or
yeah, you're
something.
working on another homunculus, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mostly because I don't have like steel to start making rudimentary weapons for current zombies at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta work on small things. All right. And if I remember correctly, this
Surgery
is
kits.
surgery. Yes, plus 10, plus 1 from little Isaiah over there.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so that is a total of plus 11. Okay, well, also now because Jar doesn't use either one of these because this is an intelligence roll. All right. So just plus 11. 23.
Yep, mark down a success on that.
Yeah.
And Vagar.
There's not much for Vagar to do, so he's
Excel
just gonna
spreadsheet.
work out, I guess.
Okay.
Gonna work out. And Eden's just gonna watch.
I
She's gonna sit back and watch. Maybe when he's doing push-ups, she's gonna just sit on his back and just.
mean, if Vagar wants extra weight, there are plenty of Mjolnir pieces that aren't being worked on right now.
Nah,
that
he's got
set
his
on him.
wife. He's good.
Well, watch that schnitzel move.
We could have her stand on him while holding like a Mjolnir leg piece or something.
She just puts the helmet on Vagar, and then slaps him in the back of the head, completely shatters Vagar's neck. immediate trip to Mothra upstairs.
Anyways, cut to Varut, because Varut, I said we were gonna do something special with him. So, as I'm gonna say you're the last one out of the office, and as you're leaving, you see, you hear, Shiria climbing down the wall behind you, and she kind of, you hear her stop, and then after a moment, I, what was your name again?
Varut
Oh
of the
yeah,
Mandalorian clan Ordo.
oh yeah, uh,
He's refitted his helmet by now.
the captain said you had some ability to use natural magic, and he wondered if you he was wondering how to figure out how to teach you.
Well, if you happen to know where a Jedi is hiding out, that would be easiest. But I think they're all dead right now. Actually, no, there's Skywalker, but he's way too busy. Anyways.
Well, after I left left behind the magic I used to use from the goddess that my people worship. I learned to use some natural magic myself. It's not. I don't think it's the same as your magic, but maybe I can teach you at least how to recognize it.
That would be most beneficial.
If you want to join me up, uh, this way. I can weave a little spot for you to stay in the rigging.
And he
Skirp,
just points towards
uh,
one of like the crossbars. Would up there suffice?
Yeah.
Uh, he just uses his jetpack and just flies straight up there.
What were you gonna say, Joey?
I was just gonna say while they were talking, Mary just takes a piece of paper off the desk and then replaces a different map in front of Skirbo, who hasn't moved. you know, he can technically still perceive and think and everything. He's just not doing anything else. So she's just swapping out what he's currently got to look at.
Mhm.
But yeah, you fly up to the crossbar of the mast, and Shiria joins you up in the rigging. So you have a connection to the natural magic of your sphere. I think in your sphere it's called the Force, which is why
Yes.
we call it force space.
Fair enough.
And you might think that you wouldn't have access to it out here in the astral sea, but because you're on a spelljammer, you actually maintain a connection to your natural magic. So
Convenient.
so you can use it. It'll still be more powerful and more easy to access in your sphere, but you can still use it outside your sphere. And if you just and if you and the specific kind of magic, it's like the psionics that Ticker uses, and it's a lot like some of the magic that I use as well. Um, Also, yeah, Shiria is like she does actually stumble over her words a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I figured.
This is
She she always she always came across as super shy.
uh-huh. I want to mention, by the way, out of character with Shiria, she used to be super high up in the Church of Lolth
Yeah.
before she left it, which is why she's a Drider.
Yeah, no, exactly. I thought it was funny that according to some of the older rules, I don't think it's true anymore, but some of the older rules I heard that that uh that male driders are considered disgraceful. It's like your
No,
last effort to try to
that's
do
current
anything
to
good.
5e. That male dryers are like an abomination and the very bottom of drow
Yeah.
society. I don't know if it's specific
Meanwhile,
to male only.
female driders are like female driders are the tits.
I don't know about the female driders. I do know
That's
that most
definitely
driders.
the lore that we're going with. Is female
Yeah.
Driders are like the super high up clerics of Lolth's church.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're
So yeah,
super important.
but yeah, Shiria used to be extremely mean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So if you
I mean, she's talking to a former death trooper. He can share on the "I used to be mean, but I'm not anymore" vibes.
Yeah.
just mean in different ways. Varud is still very
Yeah.
mean, but
Servo's still mean.
Yeah,
Varud
I
is
mean,
still
there is the
really
whole.
mean, whereas Shiria is, well, she's very shy and just keeps to the rigging most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyhow.
like I
Anyway.
can, from what I have read about the Force, it sounds like it connects things, and it sounds like it would be similar to how I feel through my webs. So I was um, thinking maybe I could teach you how to sense through that energy. Um, so when I'm in contact with webs, I can feel the motion on the webs, but I can also feel through some magic the specifics about the people touching it. Like over there, she gestures to Billy Bones, who is also in the rigging. Um, over there, I can sense that Billy um, is is a skeleton, and I can sense that I can sense his current mood. He's just kind of he's just kind of in a bit of a flow state with his work. Even though I don't even have to look at him. And and I
And I can also stops, immediately rushes up to the top of the top of the crow's nest, and then immediately rushes back down, running to a running into the medic wing. And then runs back out with and then runs back
With a
out
passed out snake man.
runs back out with a freaking with
You
a
got
thing
like
to
Narcan.
infect the snake. Just like, and I can sense, realizes something is wrong, and realizes he is currently
Something
dying
just
from an
happened.
overdose.
and I was talking to Ticker about it, and he gave me this, and she pulls out this little it just looks like a rock, but he said that this was enchanted so that it would be easier to sense. And so when I was first learning to sense on webs, I found it easier to close my eyes. So maybe you could try that and then try to sense the stone.
Okay. He does. He closes his eyes and tries to sense the rock.
Make a straight wisdom check.
I'll say wisdom is probably what the force is.
Hmm.
That's a +2. Nope. Nope.
You sense absolutely nothing.
Not sensing anything.
Sometimes it can be easier to make motions to kind of get your mind working along the right track. Like if you reach out your hand towards the rock.
It's okay.
He mimics the
It's okay.
motions that
My
you've
character's
seen Skywalker do either in passing or through like recordings of battle encounters or something.
Yep. Make another wisdom check then.
luckily my character belongs in horny jail, so she can't be detected at the moment.
You did
You
do
can
better.
sense it. You can sense something. You can't sense much about it. You can't even sense that it's a rock, but you can sense something.
Well, there's
The dice are
something.
determined to not let Varut be a force sensitive.
But I'm not. I mean, I haven't even noticed this for nearly 30 years. It doesn't seem any different today than the way I felt yesterday or last week or last month. Actually, no, last month I did get shocked. So better than last month.
It usually takes a little bit of a bit of practice to develop. Probably with time you'll learn more about it.
Patience, young Padawan.
So yeah, we'll switch. What do you want to do now, Varut? Real quick. This is out of character.
I honestly, no idea. He'll fly down and land. Is Vagar working on the top deck or working out in the bunk room or?
He's working out on the top deck.
Oh, he'll see Vagar just
Come
working
to think
out.
of it, Varut needs his tour of the ship.
And just watching Vagar up down. How much work, effort does it seem to be taking Vagar?
Not a lot.
He just pointed out. He just hung over and be like, "You don't have enough weight on there, sonny." He keeps on walking past.
Eden's just like watching him as she's like sitting on Vagar's back. He's like, "Oh, are you saying I'm skinny?"
That's a landmine. Just keep walking.
He takes a pause.
He like starts walking faster.
That's a landmine. Keep walking, Skippy.
He's like,
do not want to
Nope,
anchor a wild magic sorcerer.
He briefly slows down, and then you see him shake his head, mutter something in a language you
Think
do not
better of it
speak,
and get the
and
hell out of
keeps
there.
on walking.
Yeah.
He walks back into the captain's quarters to see if Mary or Skirbo are done doing whatever that is. Seeing the two of them are engrossed, he'll just look over at the holotank and R7.
Yeah.
And just nod at the astromech droid.
All right, we will switch. We will cut to when Demos is done cooking. Who I imagine he cooked with Bradley, because I imagine that's the chore we're assigning to Bradley because we got to keep the joke alive.
Now, yeah.
Because somehow I ended up as the party cook, like every campaign.
We got to keep the joke alive.
I tried to save you with Lurdovox. I tried. I tried so hard. But not even the great power of Lurdovox could save you from this.
Varut's the only character that hasn't been.
It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and that's because Kalani cooked for that one. And we never needed to eat again, and we never needed to seek out food again.
We were never asked.
So
there was that one time that we ate. It turned out to be poisoned.
Well, yeah. I didn't eat any because they had chicken.
So
you can't have chicken where I come from.
So yes, we will just cut to the
dinner
party
time with Demos.
Yeah, the party eating together. Plus Varut.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So you can role play with Varut.
Yeah. I'm just.
Question: is the food particularly spicy?
No.
Okay.
What has Demos?
Varut will comment on this because Mandalorian food is very spicy.
Yeah.
As soon as Varut comments on this, you see Demos pull out a box from the pantry, start thumbing through it. Let's see. How spicy do you want this?
He'll he'll name a couple of whatever spices that Mandalorians use for their. for their
Spicy so that you can still taste the rest of the food, or spicy so that you only feel the pain?
We'll go with tasteless food for now.
He pulls
Capsaicin.
out a bottle of liquid and throws it to you.
Catches it perfectly.
It's just a bottle of hot sauce.
That's what
Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah.
What flavor? Tabasco.
Nilo's just
Frank's Red Hot.
yeah.
Frank's Red Hot.
Like literally, it
no,
is a
you see,
bottle of Frank's Red Hot.
Honestly, it would almost be funnier if you just handed him a bottle of just straight capsaicin. There's not even a Scoville rating for it.
No,
It's just liquid capsaicin.
No, he does have that. He's got everything from like a really mild fruity green chili sauce all the way up
Yeah.
to like straight capsaicin.
Yeah. My
Essence
yeah.
of pain.
My character comments mildly. I once looked into it, and I'm pretty sure capsaicin is a type of poison.
It is, but like a lot of poisons, some people like the effects of it. I mean, alcohol is a poison, one that people just happen to usually like the effects of.
True.
Mm.
I've never really been a fan of it, but then again, I'm allergic.
I think only mammals are affected by capsaicin. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know birds for a fact are immune to it. They just don't have the buds that react
They don't have the
to it.
receptor for it.
Yeah, they just don't have
receptors?
They don't have the receptors.
They don't have the capsaicin receptor.
Yeah, the TRPV1 pain receptor.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
have no idea which pain receptor it is.
I'm pretty sure that's the one.
The real question is, does Mortimer feel the spicy from hot sauce if he ever uses it?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's I don't know if he tastes anything other than pixie dust.
Not
I mean,
anymore.
he's the only reptile on the ship.
To be fair, reptiles generally have poor sense of taste, so I don't even know if he tastes.
I guess not.
So Emma,
The smell's definitely gone.
So yes,
Google.
the idea is just like
Mhm.
we have. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is just like so you can ask Barut about himself out of in
Or if
character.
Varut wants to ask
Yes,
questions about the
capsaicin
others.
can affect
Yeah.
snakes.
Or if Barut wants to
Okay.
ask questions about others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hold up.
How much
Would
more work?
Emeria even know what spice is?
Huh.
Probably. I mean, I would assume that spicy foods exist in Innistrad.
Right, but listen, this mostly remains in like a strange Germanic and or country version of England.
Yeah, but
They
like
never go into other continents because it just seems that every time that someone tries to go somewhere, there's usually a giant sea monster that blocks the way.
yeah, but
or a dragon.
that doesn't mean
Or you
that,
get there and you get your blood evacuated from your body.
that doesn't mean
That's
that
true.
that doesn't mean that different plants have to be native to other continents. Like you could have chili peppers native to your continent, and even if you didn't, you have black pepper,
Oh, okay.
and you have other sources of spiciness. Garlic is usually considered spicy. You have
Cumin,
there are
cinnamon.
I
Yeah.
mean, spicy is one of the main flavors, so
It's not really a flavor though, because it's just pain.
yeah.
But there would be so many new flavors to try out that Emeria has never experienced before. This
Root will
And
pass
there
her the
still
hot
are.
sauce and be like, "Try it."
Anyways,
this sounds like the creation of like of a pain scale in the process.
yeah. Anyways, either way, I feel like if we're having like Varut's obviously going to be fine, but if we're having Emeria try this, she's going to need to make some rolls.
It depends on how much she puts on. How much hot sauce are you putting in your food, Emeria?
Well, what is it? The test is that what's it? Is she's going to ask Demos for a small bit of every single type of spice he has,
Oh
and
my god,
test
you're
it
doing a hot ones
bit by
challenge?
bit. A hot ones.
Oh my goodness.
Demos, he just says, coming right up, and then he starts coughing as he returns to the kitchen. You see the kitchen door shut, and then you immediately hear him burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Barut just looks out at Marion. He's reevaluating you and is like, didn't know you had it in you. Are you part
I'm just
Mandalore?
gonna
And then he'll look at Nilo, Vagar, and Bradley, and he's like,
I'm gonna go
it,
I'm gonna go ahead and
is
use
she
my
normally
several.
this risk taking?
That is certainly a word for it.
Oh, joy.
I just and I just sort of start siphoning stuff through my filters.
Oh,
But yeah,
never.
you wait for a minute, and then Demos brings you out a plate with
Oh, I
with
should mention that Brad, since he works in the kitchen, he knows how many spices are back there, and he just has a look of like horror and shock on his face.
Yeah.
he brings you out a plate with several different pretty much just like chips on it that each have a dab of the of each variety of hot sauce.
Yeah. Mary's gonna come around, see the
I will say that he did not give you the pure capsaicin one because
yeah,
while
you
he
ain't
is
winning that one.
yeah, and they are ordered as well, and he also hands you a jug of milk and says, trust me, you're gonna want this when you start getting to the later ones."
Mary's just gonna pass by, wanting to get a refill on her coffee, and then she's kind of leans in. What the hell's going on here?
She's trying spiciness. Apparently, she'd never had it before.
Emir-
Varun says it in a way
Emeria
that
wanna-
And she's
sounded
gonna
completely
look
shocked at the idea.
she's gonna look Demos dead in the eye. You know, milk doesn't do anything, right?
Actually, it does.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah, but
does.
Capsaicin is fat
Out of
soluble.
out of character, it totally does. Capsaicin is soluble in milk. It totally
yeah, but
does.
it's also but it's also a myth that it's like the cure-all because
No, it's not a
it's not
cure-all.
as effective
Girl,
as a lot of people
anything
say
with
it is.
fat would work. So in theory, a bottle of olive oil would work just as well as milk. In fact, it would probably work
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
Because it's a little more
It's
fatty.
A
not
stick
a
of butter.
it's not a cure-all, but it does still help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Varun will be like, you might want to bring a second one.
I want
Also,
to point
why
out, out
isn't
of
it
game, I
blue?
actually did. One time, I actually accidentally did discover something that like ripped spicy flavor right off my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of remarkable because like I was in pain, I was on the ground, and then I ate something else that wasn't spicy, but it had a lot of stuff on it, and it was very sticky. And then when I was done swallowing that, I realized, wait, the spiciness just left like immediately.
Mhm.
Like
I
it
think
peeled off
listen,
my mouth.
I think lettuce also has like some similar effect. I
Anyways,
know that they
Anyway,
pair that with
Varun,
things
once
in
he notices
Thailand.
the milk is
Anyways.
probably like normal white milk, he'd be like, wait, why isn't it blue?
Yeah,
milk from
or
most
green.
milk from most spheres is white.
Wait, do
Yeah,
they
I don't know
call
why
it
you're.
blue milk in Star Wars, or do they just
Yes.
call it milk?
They
Because
call
if
it
they
blue
call
milk.
it blue milk, then that implies that there's just not blue milk.
Well, we've
There's
also
green
seen
milk.
green milk.
Yeah,
This is true.
Ah,
these are
Green
pretty
milk.
good.
So.
Both of them are
And
pretty good.
So yeah, actually, Mary's just gonna chime in again. Just be like, yeah, I don't know why, but you're like the only sphere we've seen that doesn't just have white lactate. Everything else is I don't know what's going on with the teats of the animals in your universe, but something's off with that.
We're just look at her and be like, I mean, have you seen how woolly a bantha is? And they live on Tatooine of all places.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, so we're gonna start. So Emeria is gonna start doing the thing, I assume.
Yes. Well, first, all right, Ivo, get over here. She claps. Ivo comes by. He's got a little book. It's like, we're gonna be testing out all these flavors, and I will be describing them to you as we go along.
We're just bursts out chuckling. They're like,
Demos,
oh.
Demos starts coughing again.
Mary's like, oh no, I'm not missing this.
This is going to be interesting.
Like, don't you have something to be doing, Mary? Oh, I'm not missing this. Besides, the captain's resting.
Okay, so the first chip is just plain to get you a feeling for what this chip even just tastes like. It's a pretty standard corn chip.
Yeah.
Corn is native to South America, so this might also be a foreign substance to America.
I am. Nilo is watching with bated breath and slowly eating filtering her food in, with much the same personality as one would eat popcorn while waiting for an imminent shark attack.
All right, normal corn chip, as they call it. Bit salty in taste. Other than that, grainy.
The second one has a very mild green chili sauce. It's mostly just like a peppery flavor, but it's not really spicy.
Peppery flavor. Green. How did they get it this way? I'll have to ask Demos later.
Demos is right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spartan will chime in.
We're watching.
It's a plant. It grows green. They pick it early. If you let it ripen fully, it's a red color.
Well, that one's actually made from peppers that are green when they're fully ripe. And tomatillos.
It depends on the variety.
How strange.
I'm not tonight.
Curious, even.
Are plants not green on your world?
Well, no, it's just usually you don't eat green fruit.
There's
I assume this is a fruit, right?
There are
This
tons
is a
of green
vegetable?
fruit that are eaten. There are plenty of peppers that are green, apples.
Melons, green beans, most vegetables.
Those are vegetables, not fruit.
Honeydew.
Green apples.
Pear.
Do you
What's
not
a
have
honeydew?
Do you
It's
not
a type
have
of melon.
Do you not have apples in your world?
Well, we do
Technically,
have
green apple
apples,
is a-
but what is it? Green apples are
Mary's
usually
gonna-
the ones that are poisoned by witches. So
Mary's gonna chime in
they tell
and
us not to eat those.
Mary's gonna push back her glasses and chime in, saying, technically, a lot of places green apples were just a mutation so the final form isn't actually supposed to be the sour taste we get, but that's what we end up with. And then she just sort of leans back and goes, "Fuck, I've been spending too much time with Lord of Ox."
The next one has a.
Well, Emeria wouldn't know what a honeydew is. That's the thing.
The next one has a red sauce that's. It just has like a pretty standard hot sauce. So you get a little bit of heat, but nothing crazy.
Get a nip.
Mm-hmm.
You bite the food, but the food bit back.
We're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Here it goes.
The next one is a pretty spicy hot sauce. You're not getting into the crazy stuff yet, but it is a pretty spicy hot sauce, and you can feel like the way that super spicy food like lingers in your mouth.
Rude will chime in yet, looking you dead in the eye. Starting to burn yet?
It's getting that taste in there. It's definitely got a constant aftertaste.
Bit of a zing, yes.
Yes, you could say that. An astute observation.
I used. Do you? Does one of these have them? What are they? The Reaper one? The
Spartan will
because
chime in and be like,
they
"Oh, I've seen Marines try that, and they all,
Well,
every last one of them couldn't
it was
handle it."
a hot
we
dare
well
on
we well we do
Pilgrim.
have those. He points to the second to last chip.
Yeah, she's just because Nilo's like, I've seen a few. When I was on my pilgrimage, there was a few people who they frequently tried to gaslight each other into trying this exact thing we're watching.
We actually have one sauce from. I don't actually remember what sphere, but we have one sauce that's made from a pepper even hotter than that.
Oh,
Honestly,
dear.
it's worth pointing out out of game that they have, in terms of Scoville rating, they have long since surpassed the California Reaper. That
I
thing
know,
hasn't been on the top of the charts since like 2012.
I know.
It's like
There's
it's
the
just the one everyone
Carolina
talks
Reaper as
about.
well.
It's just the one everyone talks about because it has an actual name. The rest of them are like D128 or something like that.
Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
you try the next one. The next one is ghost pepper.
Ooh,
Oh, ouch.
got a little bit of a kick to it.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
I
Goodness.
never took part in any of these challenges personally because I would die.
So,
Quite literally.
okay, so I can
I am
add
allergic to such things.
So Spartan will try and be like,
like
"We need to find out and find a way we can get you some spiciness."
all right, so
I'm
I can
fairly
add plus
confident
9 to that.
my body is directly allergic to
Plus 9.
capsaicin. So unless you can find
16.
something that does similar things that does not cause me to have an acute
Um,
asphyxiating allergic reaction, then it's not happening.
you do get the symptoms of like eating really, really, really spicy things. Like it hurts, it burns. You
Your body heat shoots up.
yeah.
You feel like you're just
Spartan has a
sweating.
mission now. Spartan has a mission now. Find dextrocapsaicin.
Either that or find a way to cure her ridiculous allergicness to just about
He's not a
everything.
biochemist. So you can just look for dextrocapsaicin.
Why do you need this? They ask. Reasons, says the Spartan.
So yes, it is very spicy, but you can withstand it.
All right.
Ooh, tough little doll.
Only gets worse from here. All right.
Yes, it does.
So we're not gonna tap out yet.
All right, the next one is the Reaper sauce.
All right.
So con save. It burns like crazy the moment you can even smell that it's gonna burn when you are about to take a bite out of it.
Varuk can't keep the grin off his face, and the Spartan is looking at you like,
had a very, very important thought. What is has so are these just chips with a little dab of stuff on it?
Yeah, these are just chips with a little dab of sauce on them.
Okay, because I just realized that if she got her fingers on the sauce and she accidentally touched her eyes because no one told her not to do that.
No, it's like a little dab of sauce in the center of a big triangular chip. So.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
No, I know. You know that I know, Joey.
I know. That was a fun weekend.
Um,
I say that with zero irony whatsoever. That was a fun weekend.
yeah, you are cramping, you are hyperventilating, you, but you
Smart
I
looks
managed
at
think it
to,
you in that
you,
way. That's
could
like
be the milk.
it's
yep,
a train wreck, and you know it's a train wreck, and you're watching it happen, but you can't look away.
yeah,
Meanwhile, Varuk just can't keep the grin off his face.
you take a long drink from the milk, and it helps a little. Mostly the cold helps.
Yeah, and then it comes
Wait,
back.
is this the most color we've seen on Emeria's face, like, ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just like, so she does have blood vessels.
It's shocking, isn't it?
After a
Vega,
little
you
bit,
seeing this?
the pain does subside.
Ooh,
Lingers
okay.
like a bitch for a while though.
Oh, all right. Write this down, Ivo. He's got a lot of kick to it. It's lingers
Varuk
around
bursts out laughing.
a lot longer than the rest.
There is one
Or is
left out of just to be clear.
Yeah.
right? We got one more.
Yeah, come on, you don't want
Yeah, that's
you don't
spooky.
want to you don't want to quit yet, do you? says
Rattle makes
says
sure
Mary as she just
that
says
not
Mary
Varuk,
as her hair
Vagar
ripples a little bit between
Yeah.
slightly different
is just
shades of green.
watching. Spartan, just
Yeah.
make sure you're watching.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he's watching.
Yeah.
all right. So rolling
Eden's
one
just
more
really
time.
excited.
Yep, one more con save as you eat this. Like it does burn your nostrils a little as you bring it up to your your eyes already start to water.
Oh,
25.
Jeez, you actually managed to muscle it down just barely, but it burns the whole way down.
so while that's happening, while she's coughing and letting the
I want to
and
be clear, by the way, Spencer. The DC to not throw up on that check was 25.
so Nilo is just going to comment in. Are you a masochist?
I am a
Varuk
scientist.
Varuk full on
Those
like
two are the
falls
same.
out of his chair. He's laughing so hard. It's a very, very pained expression on Amelia's face.
like just genuinely like genuine question, no judgment. She's just like, are you a masochist? Because this might explain a few things about you.
I am a scientist. Beauty is pain,
Mhm.
and so
I'm
is
just going to
science.
I'm just going to note that down as a yes.
Even Brad is chuckling slightly and shaking his head, like, you got more
Mary's just
grit than I expected.
Mary's
This
just got
is
a bit of a
important.
giggle, and her hair seems to be struggling to maintain what color it currently is.
This is important research for my home plane.
Yeah.
No one will ever
Because
know this.
in case anybody forgot, yes, Mary's technically not human. Technically.
Yes, a little bit fey. I
Yeah,
remember that
yeah.
part.
She's slightly fey. Thanks to being fey touched.
I would say that she is just a fey touched human.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that race-wise she was considered a changeling in that campaign.
Oh,
Thanks to that. Yeah, so that's why I say sort of not, sort of is human. Where functionally, yeah, she might as well be human, but then she's just got a few things that humans can't do. She just usually prefers to not do them because some of them are just weird. Like, I think she can technically change her face, but she doesn't because she doesn't hate herself that much.
Cool.
She does hate herself, but not that much.
Smart will chime in and be like, I've seen battle-hardened Marines and ODSTs. Player is trying to find the word. Oh, what is it?
Player malfunction.
Bow out. Much earlier than that. They couldn't handle it. You've got more grit than I expected.
She's full of surprises, isn't she? Not all of them are pleasant.
I've been through worse.
Varut finally manages to get control of himself and hauls himself back up into his chair. he's like red faced, with fainting some tears from laughing so hard. He's like, "Whoo! I haven't seen anything that funny in a long while." Whew. Now tell me, none of you other hooligans are going to try anything ridiculous like that, because I think I might just die and kill myself if I laugh like that again today.
Mary's just heading back to her work. The so it's just like Neela's just not unless we have. It seems to be our current bonding activities. Last time we managed to get everyone drunk at a bar. And from what I recall, we were arguing about how emails worked.
Yes, they keep telling me it doesn't have anything to do with ghosts, but at the same time, they don't do a very good job explaining their technology. So at the same time, are they actually for the more advanced technology?
I look at the Varut looks at the Spartan in the corner and is like, "Okay, I feel your pain there. Trying to explain electronic technology to people from the Stone Age is impossible."
Yeah. Kalani was weirdly receptive to all that, I want to point out, but I do want to point out it was still funny watching how somebody had to stop and be like, okay, we got to explain orbit to Kalani. We got to explain the concept of orbit to Kalani because
and laser guns. What
the
laser gun do is just like sit here, point it at me, push the button.
She is the knight from a fantasy. She is a knight from a fantasy storybook. Of course, she doesn't know science.
Orbiting, throwing yourself at the ground and missing.
Yeah.
First of all, that's how you fly.
Fall
Second of
the
all,
ground.
First of all, that's how you fly. Second of all, I love Douglas Adams. Anyways, so yeah. Go like I was going to continue eating, realize I did finish my food. And then just, go ahead and put that away. Koreans don't do more than is necessary. That it's their culture. So yeah. I'm still with the party though. So just
So
turn to all them
shenanigans.
So, how did you four miscreants end up thrown together on this ship?
I think out of game, I think we explained part of this to Varut.
Yeah, part of it, but not
we did.
Yeah.
all.
Well, I think we left off at the part where we were. I think we left off at the part where we ended up on that ISD. I think they're called.
Big triangle with the bridge sticking up.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely terrible design. We were escorted from some section of the bridge. They spoke to the captain. It sounded like they were going to put us somewhere when
probably the brig.
When something I was not happy to see at all, called a Reaper, showed up and completely annihilated the vessel, causing all of us to get launched into space.
One ship able to completely take out an ISD? Is that like this Reaper? Is it some sort of superstar destroyer or something?
She goes ahead and pulls up the readouts she would obviously have on a Sovereign class.
That took out an entire ISD by itself.
I don't care.
What's it
When
carrying? Like a Death Star laser in that thing or something?
it didn't seem to use most of its weaponry. Instead, it seemed to prefer to just ram right through it. Although with the way these things move, with the unnatural rate these things can move, I'm not surprised its deflector shields couldn't withstand it.
Really just maybe.
I've seen one of these things pull a maneuver that smaller fighters would have been torn in half trying to perform.
Interesting.
There. Anyways,
Sort of like a
while we
mass
were
accelerator shell.
when we were out in space, and I was minutes away from having a panic attack because we were careening right for it, we then all found ourselves trapped in the rigs.
Spartan will chime in. You left out the part where you kept repeating, "Don't land on me again."
Considering that every single one of you were on top of me in the and I very much would like to not suffocate. I think I was within my rights.
I still don't know how you all survived that the first time. He pulls out another bit of Reaper computer chips and just flicks it off to the side.
Just immediately has to incinerate it.
I am a very durable woman.
Yeah, they are.
I'm
amazed I didn't
clearly,
have any
you handled the
fractured.
spiciness fairly well.
I'm amazed I didn't have any fractured ribs. But regardless, we had ended up with our in the rigs of the ship, and we have more or less been swept upon this journey ever since.
Ah, interesting.
Eden's just gonna be
Come to
like,
think of it,
I
I
could say
realize.
so much about you guys being on top of each other, but I'm just not going to.
Come to
Right.
think of it, I don't know
Oh,
if that
it
Reaper
wasn't
is
nearly
still
as
out
pleasant as
there.
you're making it out to be.
I know.
Spartan will chime in. I highly doubt you all would describe it as pleasant. Unless you like being squished by 500 kilograms of titanium armor.
Well, I like being squished by him.
and she's gonna just point to Vagar. Figures just
Rudy
get on
just
topic, please.
So many people flirt with Varut. Like
Well,
I
then he's like,
I don't know what it is, but I love the idea of
then
Varut just
he's like,
being the
500 kil. How are you able to move in that?
seems to have
Well,
seems like a lot of hydraulic systems in the suit, most of which I've had to repair. Some of which were a
also
little dated.
muscle and skeleton augmentations. They had to augment all of us wearers because the suit was too heavy and it crushed the original test pilots.
You don't say.
Question: what's a you keep throwing around a kilogram. What is a kilogram?
It's 1,000 grams, also approximately 2.2 pounds.
2.2. Oh, that's a lot of weight.
Yes, my armor weighs about a half ton with me in it. Which is why I'm surprised none of you all became red smears when we landed.
I'm more surprised. I'm
Vagar is
more
very
surprised
durable.
everyone else was on me. Ugh. I'm not gonna lie, out of game. That was really funny to roleplay. Just desperately struggling to try to get out from under the dog pile of other player characters
How many
and
pounds
failing
did Nilo have sitting on her? I mean, there's half-ton Spartan plus
there.
Vagar and
Yeah,
Emeria.
assuming Vagar's a roughly healthy weight for his age and build, he'd probably be around maybe 180, something like that. Most of that
Around that.
muscle. Where and then Miri's probably or Emeria is probably around 110 pounds, something like that. Maybe
So
less, given
that's
her size and build.
290. That's about 1,300 pounds.
Yeah. All being compressed upon Nilo. Frankly speaking, it's amazing she didn't even suffer a fractured rib from that.
Yep. Yep.
So, anyhow,
Just gonna look at the four of you and it's just like,
what kind of bonding sessions did you perform with your
well,
old teammates?
well, when we first met in Cloneria's palace, after we had been sucked out from wherever we were, we each woke in separate rooms, so we didn't land on top of each other. And of course,
That must have been nice.
I was still Death Trooper at the time. Ended up getting an argument with Juneau over documentation while
It was
Kalani went
Griswold.
around to look out the
Juneau
balcony.
was spying around the corner. It was Griswold.
Oh, it
You
was
were
Griswold.
arguing with Griswold.
It was
It
Griswold.
was amazing. Griswold being all Griswold while you were all, give me your papers.
Yeah. There was one time, early on, when we were coming back from Sigil.
Kalani had probably the best reaction out of everyone. She just stepped out. She stepped outside, all intimidating, heavy. Looked around, saw you guys arguing, saw Juneau hiding in the corner, and then immediately asserted, "Clearly, none of you are of any use," and then walked out.
Yep.
That was the first thing I said as Kalani.
Yep. So, first mission we ever really go on, we get back, coming back from Sigil. Portal opens to Cronaria's palace. Kalani steps through, and then suddenly reappears in front of us. Turns out, she got squished by a giant boulder, a cosmic anvil, if you will. Dreadfully painful. Let's see, what other fun times? We encountered some, what were they called? I believe they're called wargs on Faerun. We after
Just
we
kind of
defeated them in battle, we ended up making jerky out of them. Good snacks, by the way.
really good stuff. Kalani knew how to prepare. Did Demos hear that?
No, he went back to the kitchen.
Okay. Because if I remember correctly, that was an impressive feat from Kalani. That was one of her first impressive feats, and it had nothing to do with her strength.
Mm-hmm.
She made something very nice. She made a nice snack out of something that is notoriously not that nice.
Let's see here. Other fun times. Oh yes. Right, I forget where we were. Some ancient castle had a weapon rack and a room were painted on with a tree with a whole bunch of monkeys in it and a bridge crossing it. Kalani and I crossed it no problem, and then Griswold gets the bright idea going to take some of the weapons from the weapon rack. Grabs one, walks across the bridge, gets halfway there. The weapon gets magically yanked out of her hand and handed to one of the monkeys in the painting, who then comes out of nowhere and actually starts attacking. Very quickly dispatches the monkey, so she tries it again. And
That
again.
sounds
And again.
completely insane. That sounds completely insane.
Yes, but here's the catch, and this will tell you a bit about Griswold. she didn't learn the first time, or the second, or even the third, to leave the weapons in the weapon rack.
It wasn't until we got killed by a fucking orangutan.
And eventually,
A giant orangutan.
a giant egg baboon thing materialized, and well, to make a long story short, Kalani and I went back in to make sure they weren't dying in there, and everyone died but me.
You mentioned dying as if this was normal, but you are not dead.
Oh yeah, every time they died, Cornelia brought them back with all the memories of what happened, but yet we were shifted right back in time before the event happened. It was weird.
The
I was the
benefits
only
of
one that didn't
working
end
for
up
a
ever dying once in that adventure.
the benefits of working for a time goddess, I suppose.
Yes. Let's see here. What other
You are
crazy things happened?
you are
Oh yes,
temporally
we almost
locked
got
to stay
mugged in an
alive.
alley on Earth. What'd you
Yeah.
say?
I was just saying you are temporally locked to stay alive.
Yep. So what other crazy things happened? Oh yes, we almost got mugged in an alley on Earth. Kalani proceeded to pick him up and shove his head into a concrete wall, 10 feet up off the ground. Lovely mess. I wonder how those detectives ever reacted to that crime scene.
Oh, the infamous alleyway.
Let's
That
see here.
freaking
Hunt.
that crime scene. I spoke with someone who was a working police officer at the time to see how would they go about trying to dissect a scene like this. And he's just like, I don't fucking know, man. I'm like, what if someone brought a Geiger counter as like a joke and then they noticed, son of a bitch, it's actually going off.
I see here.
Like,
Juneau left a radioactive trail wherever we were going. Nearly gave me a heart attack on Atomspace. They have, oh, how do I describe it?
you mentioned nuclear bombs around this size.
Yes, but they have a launcher thing for that, and she was just tossing it around like a ball in her hands and nearly dropped one. I've been in many
I'm
perilous
getting the sense
situations, but none of them nearly gave me a heart attack quite like that.
I'm getting the sense you were the only responsible one in the group.
Yeah, I felt like that sometimes.
Even though Kalani was the one who kept a lot of them in line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frequently by picking them up like a disobedient kitten.
Mhm. Yep.
By the
Let's see
scruff of
here.
their necks.
Let's see here.
And walking out of the room.
Carl was useless as ever, but I suppose one can't be too picky about their cannon fodder. At least, it's
I
cannon fodder that could fight back.
I hesitate to imagine the situations you've been in where a gnarly predatory animal of that scale would be considered useless.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't have it with me now. It's being repaired. I used to carry a modified heavy blaster turret around. My rifle disintegrates things. Kalani loves to pick people up and just. He makes a brief arm motion like tossing someone, and he says, "Yeet."
Somewhere else.
He saw so much of that that it became that it honestly probably felt weird that when he no longer had that as part of his repertoire. There was a part of him that immediately was like, I want Kalani back.
There were definitely some battles where he just like, "Kalani, can you toss?" Oh, right, you're.
Yo,
here.
I don't have the big muscle woman.
Muscles isn't here to toss the fool.
He's like works with a Wookiee briefly. What do you mean you can't throw the man over the wall?
You look like you could do it.
I saw someone your same height throw a man over much higher.
No. I saw someone your same height suplex a horse person thing.
Oh, she did do that.
Surely you could pick up a stormtrooper and just huck him over the wall.
Like it's just funny imagining Varut from a military standpoint. He's like, ah, yes, efficiency, and then turns around and realizes one of the best things he had for like a couple months just isn't around anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, Griswold had her puppets and her weird guns and her magic staff thing, and Juneau had her nuke launcher and her rifles. Yeah, they're pretty useless. Although
She
later
also
on,
had a tendency to trap things.
Griswold
remember.
did do some weird magic thing to turn the mutant bear creature into some sort of giant angel demon thing.
I think you mentioned that, and it doesn't make any more sense the second time you bring it up.
Trust me, it didn't make any sense when I watched it happen.
Well, I mean, considering at the same time we were also attempting to attend a gala, so that tracks.
That same session.
And then not long after that, Juneau had too much, and Kalani had to mother her for a bit, while Carl licked up the Ukchuk while still in this horrifying skull-faced demon form. That was quite the day.
Yep, Varut will tell that tale.
I imagine there's a few moments that Varut actually has trouble remembering, but there are other moments like that where no, you don't forget stuff like that.
Yep.
You gazed into the void and the void blinked.
Yep.
You're gonna remember that. That
memories.
stuff like that's gonna haunt your dreams for a while.
Yep.
Listen, like the arena fight, nah, didn't really remember that. The time where we hanged out with
With a pirate captain on his with a robot pirate captain on his boat. Nah, I won't remember that. Watching a skull face monster lap up some some churned up stomach. Yeah, no. I'm not gonna forget that sight anytime soon.
in a gala filled with strange characters, while the jester is trying to justify why everyone else would be the culprit except the literal dragon.
Yeah, and the fact that the corpse was literally was completely charred, and in that same room.
In my
Which
defense,
I want to point out,
Niv
someone
Mizzet has
walked in on
electric
that.
breath.
Someone walked in on that scene, which is got to be one of the funniest awkward moments I'd seen. Just walk in, no, and walked out.
Walked out and be like, I've clearly had too much to drink because I just hallucinated.
This is. I don't think I want to be a part of whatever the hell's going on in here. Anyhow, yeah, so it's just
Let's see, what other fun times were there? Oh yes, there was a time that Kalani, Juneau, and Griswold put on a show for a vampire while I snuck in and put a thermal detonator on his chair. He somehow survived that blast. No idea how.
He did not survive Kalani throwing a freaking werewolf at his face.
Kalani then proceeded to pick up one of his guards and throw it through him into the wall.
I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm starting to get the feeling that this Kalani was incredibly strong. You
Yeah,
keep mentioning her throwing things as if it were nothing.
yeah. She was, and then we got to her world, and she got some magic gauntlets that made her even stronger.
I just tilt my head. Like, he's already been making her sound completely absurd.
Become Dami Mommy.
Yeah. So as far as
I
Neela is
mean,
concerned, as far as this conversation has been going, he's been making Kalani sound like she's related to freaking Hercules.
her battle axe was 90 pounds. Good for a workout.
But was she a bit of a handful with that much strength? How do you keep a handle on someone like that?
You don't. But then again, I have my ways. Just flexes his wrist and the whistling birds just emerge.
Yeah.
He has his male wiles.
Yeah.
More implying that he has lots of missiles and bombs.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kalani's solution would have been a visit to Bane's chiropractor. Which,
Hmm.
uh,
No, more like Bane's school of chiropractic. Like
yeah,
who taught him his chiropractic.
yeah. She learned many lessons from that. Probably not
The
correctly, but just just a guy screaming on the floor looks over at the teacher. I don't think I did this correctly. The teacher gently puts his hand on her shoulder. Trust me, you did.
you know you did it right because you heard the cracking sound.
You did everything correct. You are my best student.
I will say, that level of strength did come in handy. One time we were fighting this giant spider creature. I believe she called it a goma. Ripped its eyeball out and then crawled inside and proceeded to hack at it from the inside. I then proceeded to throw a thermal detonator into the hole to
I
blow it
don't
up.
I don't remember you doing that. I remember it
I think I did.
explicitly.
I think I cast fireball.
You definitely cast fireball on it, I bet, but I also distinctly remember you not being the one who dealt the finishing blow. I remember
Yeah,
it
I'm
begging
not
for
saying I finished it off
mercy.
with the explosion. Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably killed it from the inside with just wailing at
Yeah,
it.
no, I drove my blade in what was effectively in what was the closest thing to its medulla because it was begging for mercy at that point. It
Yeah,
couldn't do anything to me.
yeah. Griswold was an interesting one when fighting. She had this staff that was basically a sword tied to the end of a long stick.
It wasn't
She
always that way.
wasn't always quite like that.
Yeah.
No,
She
just
spoke a
normal stick.
couple magic words, and the blade would come wreathed in fire. And then she would whack something with it, and then run around like a hooligan, like some sort of dancer or something.
He sounds like an entertainer.
Clown, something about chaos deities or something. And then she also had her puppets who had, in her words, comically large guns that could disintegrate people.
You people had a lot of love for disintegrations, don't you?
I mean, it's very handy for me.
One of you was throwing around nuclear explosives like they were candy at a parade. You had a rifle you had a type of disruptor, and it sounds like Griswold did as well. You didn't give anything to Kalani, did you?
I would on occasion hand her thermal detonators to throw. Much better throwing arm, that one.
She did have a really good throwing arm. It was like, oh, your range is 30 feet. Kalani's range is middle finger.
Range, yes.
Can I see it? How heavy is it? Can I see
I
it?
remember it's Root handing you thermal detonators and be like, "Don't drop it."
Yeah, I remember you telling me to throw it into a giant's face. And then I proceeded to stop that giant dead in its tracks. Oh, because Sentinel, baby. Anyhow,
Speaking of disintegrations, perhaps I should clarify what I mean. Toss that apple up in the air. He pulls, and then he just shoots it with his rifle, and it basically just vanishes.
yeah. Seems appropriate. It also seems like a terribly painful way to die.
That's what I've heard.
Uh,
But quite useful.
what's the next move? I feel like we're petering out.
we can jump to the next thing.
All right.
So the ship arrives at a sphere, and enters it, and
Show Varut what that looks. Have to show Varut what that looks like because it is kind of neat.
yeah, you find yourself over Earth.
So this is what it looks like from orbit. Interesting.
This one does not seem to have a silver moon?
They made it sound like that was super rare as well.
The ship flies down towards the
Just out of curiosity, just out of curiosity, I'm gonna use my Omni tool to basically scan with a Geiger counter.
Pretty much
Yes.
pretty much everywhere there is lots and lots of radiation.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there was a certain point where they had to just tune their thing to be like, okay, what's the least deadly radiated area? Because otherwise, it's just going. What?
So yeah, the ship flies down and lands
Somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it lands somewhere in what used to be Massachusetts.
Fair enough.
And you look around and see a wasteland.
They were not kidding.
Just like last time. Lovely.
You are not kidding. What could ever have been worth this?
We'll just shrug.
They don't even have space travel, so they can't even follow the excuse of leaving their planet.
Nope.
Well,
they didn't build biodomes like we did on Mandalore. When we did this.
Well, from my experience, nobles aren't exactly the smartest of people. What is it? Most nobles where I come from are vampires, and they don't fully understand that perhaps maybe if you kill all of the humans, you won't have any food left. So I assume the same concept happened here, except just humans being humans.
Could be an extreme case of mutually assured destruction.
That's what it looks like happened.
Before
Hopefully
anyone take her walks up, before anyone steps off the ship, he traces a rune in front of each of you, and then taps you on the taps you on the forehead. And there we go. You should be all protected from radiation now.
I mean, Spartan's armor probably already did that, considering he's a walking nuclear reactor. But
pretty sure my hazmat suit was also equipped. My
yeah,
hazmat suit I
considering
live in.
it's space worthy, it probably was.
Yeah.
But
either way, I ain't complaining about extra protection.
Yeah, that's why Spartan's not going to say anything.
I still have no idea what this whole radiation thing is. Someone has yet to tell me.
Varut will look at.
Do you know like
does Emeria voice that?
Think of it like airborne poison.
Do you know what cell? Do you know what? Do you know what
the
cells
sun is a
and
deadly
atoms
laser
are?
that's trying to kill you.
You're a biologist. Do you know what cells and atoms are?
When was the microscope invented? Actually, when was the first time we could see cells?
I'm gonna say you would have a microscope.
Yeah.
Ah, all right. Yes, microscope. Yep. I have an understanding what cells are.
Radiation is a type. Radiation is a type of. A type of hostile light that whenever you encounter it, it has a tendency to knock off pieces of the building blocks of your cells, thus causing unintentional mutations or even causing cellular decay. In all technicality, even the sun produces massive amounts of radiation, but ideally, you're supposed to have a layer in the atmosphere of your planet that protects you from most of the egregious parts of this particular radioactive spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Although my
Varut translating into basically what it amounts to in his mind as Kalani E's. The sun, it looks at Emeria and says, "The sun is a deadly laser trying to kill you."
Okay,
that is also accurate.
Knows what. I don't think Emeria knows what a laser is. So Nilo's explanation actually works better.
Yeah, can I just point out how hilarious that for you that doesn't make sense, but for Kalani, who had less technology, that does make sense.
I also just love the term Kalani.
Because lasers are a thing where she comes from.
I also just love the term Kalani E's. It's just like, I'm not saying it's not incorrect, but like.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to I'm gonna end the session off here because I'm kind of out of stuff to do this session.
Understand.
Which is why I just gave you the time to roleplay with Varut.
Okay.
So yeah, we might be back next week. We might not. Archives on the Archive channel. Bye.